Music is part of everything. Music is life itself. I don't understand how people can exist without music. I suppose they can. They've got to find something. Every human being has to find an outlet to express himself or herself in some way. For me, I see no existence without music because it's been part of me almost since I was born.
I cannot see how you can explain that a young child could pick up a violin, play it intuitively, could play the Beethoven Fiddle Concerto and win a prize when she was an infant, and only later discover that she couldn't really properly read music. I mean, it's one of life's mysteries.
She always played extremely well. Some of her recordings of the 1940s, the early 1940s, are absolutely dazzling. Isaac Stern and Yehudi Menuhin are the two who are alive today who have had careers as long as she.
What is so remarkable about her is that you know that you can depend on her. You know that whether she's going to play the Elgar or the Sibelius or the Stravinsky, that it's going to be a thrilling, direct, human, and perfect performance.
Ever since I was a child, I wanted to play in New York. It was the ultimate goal of my career, I thought, and everybody else's. Prior to the war, I had already been known as a prodigy, and just before the war, I played concerts internationally. So there it was. I was on my way to the United States. I was going to give a recital at Carnegie Hall, which was very exciting and very wonderful. Foreign accompanist, we decided to take the #1 in those days, and that was Arthur Balsam. The only shadow on my happiness at making a New York debut was that neither here nor in the American tour which followed had impresario Sol Hurok arranged for me to play with a prominent American orchestra. Though I enjoyed chamber music, I had already specialized in the concerto repertoire, and I had hoped to begin my American career playing a concerto. But Arthur and I got on very well. It was a pleasure to work with him.
In those days, even I was much younger than I am now. But still, I could even then see what a great talent this was. And it was a very, very great pleasure for me to play with her.
That sonata, maybe, I don't know, how many years ago? Many, many, many years. Mass of confusion. Okay. So how about doing Brahms for old memory's sake, which we played so many years ago? I felt that my dream had come true. This was what I was aiming for all my life since I began to play the violin. And there I was finally on that stage of the Carnegie Hall. Both musicians and the audience received me marvelously well. The critical reaction of my debut was, on the whole, favorable, but to be perfectly frank, not as enthusiastic as a lot of musicians predicted. And that was a bit of a disappointment. The second time I played, the reaction was a lot better. After years of darkness in wartime London, the bright lights and excitement of New York made up for a lot, even for the poorly organized midwinter tour of small American towns that followed. Now concert tour followed concert tour in Europe and South America. There were good times and bad times. Financially, it could be difficult, with fees sometimes barely covering expenses.